Arrivederci.
Ah, ok.
Bravo, sai che non me lo ricordo. Prosecco. No, non ce l'ho. C'ho crema.
I'm Wendy Holloway, and you're listening to the Flavor of Italy podcast, sharing the very best of Italian food and wine, lifestyle, and people. Morning. This is Wendy Holloway with the Flavor of Italy podcast. You know, when you think of Sicily, your mind probably goes immediately to things like citrus, lemons, oranges, mandarins. These are the fruits that have defined the island's agricultural identity for centuries. You might even picture those beautifully painted Sicilian ceramic heads that are overflowing with lemons or blood oranges in a market. But if you visit the island today, you just might stumble on something completely unexpected. Avocados ripening under the same Sicilian sun that once gave us the world's most famous citrus. And that's exactly what I want to talk to you about today. How climate change, agriculture, and tradition are colliding in Sicily to bring us something both new and familiar. A fruit that feels global, but is finding a very particular expression in Italy. Let's start with a little history. So this isn't the first time Italian cuisine has absorbed a newcomer and eventually made it feel like it's always been here. Think about the tomato. When it arrived from the Americas, Italians were suspicious. It was considered ornamental, even poisonous. And that lasted for decades. And then corn, potatoes, peppers, all of these foods that we think of as part of Sicily's and Italy's kitchen staples, they were all once outsiders. Citrus itself was introduced to Sicily by the Arabs in the Middle Ages. And yet today, who could possibly imagine Italian food without tomatoes, without polenta, without pepperoni, without those famous Amalfi lemons? So actually, avocados may just be on the same path. And Sicily is the perfect testing ground. The island has always been a place where climate collides. So think of the volcanic soils around Mount Etna and the coastal winds off the Mediterranean, and then those pockets of valleys that trap warmth. These create a patchwork of microclimates. Farmers have always known in Sicily how to read the land and to find the right grape for the right slope, the right citrus tree for the right exposure. And now they're planting avocado trees. And guess what? They're thriving. On the eastern side of Sicily, near Mascali and Giare, not far from Etna, you'll find orchards of Hass and Reed avocados growing alongside lemon trees. And then in Scordia, south of Catania, you'll see Suerte and bacon varieties. And then farms like Avocado del Vulcano are actually marketing the idea of volcanic avocados grown in those black, fertile soils. When I first came across this, I thought, oh, only in Italy would someone be branding avocados with a sense of terroir. But that's exactly what's happening. So just like wine and olive oil or saffron, avocados in Sicily are being tied to place. Now, let's talk about the taste. So when you buy an avocado in Rome, in Milan, in New York, the chances are it's traveled from Peru or Chile, Israel or Kenya, and also California. By the time it reaches you, it's been on a plane or a boat for weeks. Sicilian avocados, by contrast, are harvested close to ripeness and can reach Italian markets in days. The result? They're richer, creamier, and, dare I say, more flavorful. Just as a tomato tastes different when you eat it fresh from the vine in July, so too does an avocado taste different when it's grown a few hundred kilometers away rather than a few continents away. And let me tell you from my own kitchen, I use avocados a lot. That's probably part of my American heritage, but I love them. Avocado toast, yes, but with Italian bread and a drizzle of great olive oil. Guacamole, though I sometimes sneak in a little parsley or oregano just to give it a Mediterranean whisper. And one of my favorites, a pureed avocado pasta sauce. Yes, pasta. So you just blend the flesh with lemon juice, olive oil, garlic, maybe a pinch of hot pepper. Toss it with hot spaghetti, and you've got a sauce that clings to the pasta like cream, but it's fresh and green and dairy-free. And if you've never tried it, you have to. And if you can get your hands on Sicilian avocados, so much the better. Of course, it's not all easy. Avocados are very thirsty plants. They need plenty of water, especially when they're young. And Sicily has been suffering from droughts in recent years. Farmers are experimenting with irrigation systems, water capture, and soil management to make it sustainable. But it's a challenge. And then there's the unpredictability of climate itself. One cold snap or a hailstorm can wipe out a year's work. So while there's optimism, there's also risk. But there's also opportunity. And this is where consumers like you and me play a role. So right now, if you go into most supermarkets or outdoor markets in Rome, you'll see avocados from overseas. Very, very rarely will you find one from Sicily. So why is that? Because buyers and distributors haven't yet committed to sourcing them. But that can change. If we start asking at our markets, at our neighborhood fruttivendoli, even at Italy, for Sicilian avocados, suppliers will begin to source them. It's the same story we've seen with blood oranges, niche cheeses, even with wines from Mount Etna. Demand creates supply. And wouldn't it be wonderful to enjoy avocados with the same connection to place that we enjoy with every other Italian ingredient? And here's another thought. Italy has always excelled at taking global foods and making them uniquely Italian. Think about how we use eggplant compared to India or the Middle East, or how pasta, originally inspired by Asian noodles, became Italy's defining food. I think possibly that over time, Sicilian avocados won't just be avocados. They'll become part of the Italian culinary imagination. Maybe chefs will fold them into caprese salads, pairing them with mozzarella and tomatoes. Maybe there will be an avocado granita. I can already